welcome back to Better Than a Pill. Today, I'm so excited to have Dr. Bijoy John on as a guest. And Dr. John is actually a board certified practicing sleep specialist with over 25 years of experience. And his major aim is to heal the world by teaching folks how to sleep better. And he's actually devised the 7 proven sleep strategies for better health and happiness. And he recently published a new book called Nobody's Sleeping, which is available to pre order. So today we're going to be talking about how to sleep better. So, welcome, Dr. John.
Thanks, Gary. I'm so excited to be on your show. Let's go. So,
All right, excellent.
uh,
Well, I'm so excited to have you here. And I know you've been doing your work for a long time with specifically sleep related issues. Yeah.
correct. So, my background is pulmonary critical care and sleep. I did that for several years, 25 years. And then finally, 3, 4 years ago, I said, I'm going to just focus on sleep because it is a very underrepresented, underappreciated, yet it is the superpower that once you get it and you know how you can use it, you can conquer the world. I said, that's going to be my passion, and that's what I'm taking into the world.
So, yeah. So you're seeing, I mean, a lot of people walking around not getting enough sleep
Correct.
and how, yeah. Yeah.
Sleep problems don't hurt and they don't grow like cancer. So people put it away, but 10 years of these problems adds up and it affects all parts of our body. It affects your heart, blood pressure, diabetes, cognition. One of the treatable causes of dementia is, conditions like sleep apnea. You are in a brain fog, you're not retaining, you call in sick. It's got all kinds of effects. So once you recover or reclaim this superpower of sleep, and then the sky's the limit for everybody. I want everybody to be the better version of themselves by discovering this secret that's been with us for all these years.
Yes. And so, what are like some commonalities that you have seen when it comes to getting better sleep?
So you think better, your process is better. Your brain is a complicated processor. It gives a rest. When it's completely shut down and rest, it is more rejuvenated and powerful. Right? You're able to think better. Your memory is better. It's better consolidated. You better become a better student. You have this radiant energy. You're not operating from a sleep debt. So you're tired, several studies in cognition, your cognition is poor, you're able to focus, you're able to achieve what you plan to achieve by sleeping more, even in a shorter period of time. See, people cut down on their sleep. And then, let's say you lose 1 hour of sleep every night. In a week, you've lost a one whole night of sleep. It adds to 7, 8 hours. So you're operating on a sleep debt.
Yeah. And so, like, what would you say? Because I know I've even had a guest talk about this not too long ago, but just like in terms of like how much sleep in general we need. And then also I want to throw this in there about the type of sleep that we need, like breaking it down even to that, like understanding a little bit more about REM sleep and all of that.
Yes.
Let us know about this.
All right. The common question I get asked, so people ask me, how much sleep do you need? Typically for adults, we need about 7 to 8 hours. Children and, of course, babies need a lot more sleep. Teens require about 8 hours. Small, kindergarten, those age children need about 14 hours. So it's a little bit higher every when you're young, but adults need about 7 to 8 hours. Sleep has got two types. It's called non-REM sleep and REM sleep. In non-REM sleep is divided into stages 1, 2, and 3, and REM is divided into phasic and tonic. Very complicated yet very simple. Each cycle is about 90 minutes, and we have about 4 cycles per night. So we enter sleep through non-REM sleep. The deepest sleep or the sweet sleep is stage 3 non-REM sleep. That's what you need. And of course, we need REM. REM is very chaotic. It's almost being awake, but we need REM to heal ourselves, meaning all the conflicts. That's when we dream, we resolve the personal conflicts. So it's good for all our psyche. And a lot of, psychiatric illnesses has a problem with the REM sleep content. So how you feel depends on how much sweet sleep you get or stage 3 non-REM sleep. And some people are gifted like Elon Musk and the previous our previous presidents. They don't sleep much. They are called short sleepers. But most of us don't have that genetic lottery. We all need more. The answer, the question in another way, How you feel the next day is the most important. If you slept 7, 8 hours and you feel great, you're great. So if you sleep more and you're still tired, then there is a problem. You with me?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So if you
Yeah.
sleep more, let's say you get 9 to 10 hours,
Yes.
what do you feel like you don't need 12? You need less, or what does that mean?
So what people are sleeping longer, trying to get to that, the stages of sleep. So you don't need more than, for sure, adults more don't need more than 8 hours of sleep. But if you're sleeping longer, you have a sleep disorder like sleep apnea, or you have a sleep disorder like hypersomnia where you require more sleep. So if you sleep more than 7.5, 8 hours and you're still tired, you for sure have a sleep problem.
Interesting. That's
Mhm.
the first time I've heard that.
Correct.
So you shouldn't really need 7 to 8 hours sleep. And does that apply for a woman over 40?
Just so women sleep is very nuanced. Women are poor sleepers by nature because of many reasons. And then when perimenopause happens, it's done. When the estrogen loss, that's hard on women and they lose their sleep. My mom taught me how to sleep, so I'm passionate about sleep. So women go, all my women in my life, my daughter, my wife, and my in-laws, all of them don't sleep because of the different stages. When you're a young woman, the monthly changes with your hormone, that affects the quality of sleep. Then, of course, exposure to the social media. Women and young girls seems to be more affected by the effects of the social media. That's a separate topic by itself. And then parenting and adulthood. Being a parent, several nights my children have come home and I'm fast asleep. But hey, did you know my son came and so as caregivers, you're more hyper vigilant. So just by that role, you are not sleeping well. Of course, most of my patients you come to my clinic with sleep problems, especially insomnia, are women because of that. And life happens. Tragedies happens. That worsens the sleep. You're already predisposed, and all these things happen. And then women are protected from sleep apnea because of the estrogen. But when perimenopause happens, you lose that protection, and now you have another sleep problem, that's sleep apnea plus the background and insomnia. So women are not very good sleepers by nature.
Right. And so, because I had heard
Yes.
that, and I get that, by the way, but I had heard that women over 40 are going through the perimenopause, menopause stage, that we
Yes.
need more like 9 or 10 hours sleep. And
No,
that's, and I was, no, okay.
no, you
Yeah.
don't
So
need
that's
it.
interesting.
You don't need it.
Okay.
You're at risk now for sleep apnea. So that's what's happening to most women in
Okay.
peri. So when the estrogen loss, things sag, especially the back of the throat causes an obstruction. So you have an obstructive sleep apnea. Perimenopausal women's risk for sleep apnea is same as a man at that time.
Okay. And so just, I have a question, but I want to take it a step back for a second. You
Yes.
say that the sweet spot is the stage three
Yes.
non-REM. That's
Correct.
where the deep sleep is. How much of that do we need? And then, and how much of the other type of REM sleep do we need that heals our consciousness? It sounds like in psychiatric things and
Correct.
where we dream. Yeah. Break
Yes.
that down.
Yeah, stage one, roughly we go through about 10 to 15. Stage two is the big one, that's the transition. So it's about 45 to 50. And then the rest of the 50% is stage three. That's about 25%, 20 to 25% we need. And same with REM sleep, we need 20 to 25.
Okay. So 20 to 25% we need of the non-REM.
Stage three.
Okay. Stage three.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And then 20
Okay.
to 25 of the REM sleep.
And so how do we, I know, I think it may even say that on a Fitbit app I
Yes.
mean, how do we monitor that? I mean, could we use an app like that or, how do we know?
So that's a very common question. How do you get the most sweetest sleep? The easy answer is sleep deprivation. See, I used to be on night call. I'm on call the next night, and the next night I'm sleeping, and of course you get a lot of the sweet sleep. But some people who have stress in their life, they go through a lot of non-REM sleep, which is, even though you sleep 8 hours, you're going to spend about 4 hours, more than 50% of that in REM sleep. You're not resting because your mind is constantly. That's what a lot of people wake up and say, "Man, I slept 8 hours. I'm still tired. What's going on with me?" And there are a few people who sleep the exact 6 or 7 hours. They sleep because they got that 20 to 25% of the non-REM sleep that they need. And working out, having in fact, as easy as eating a good meal, the low glycemic meal 4 hours prior, an exercise regimen. Like about four, I tell people, we'll talk about my sleep now strategy. 4 hours prior, good exercise routine, eating a low carb meal 4 hours prior. Those are some of those things will help us to get that stage three sleep.
So definitely I've heard that exercise and know that to be true is helpful
Yes.
for
Yes.
sleeping and getting that to routine, which is awesome movement.
Yes.
So just taking it with the food, so let's say we go to sleep, let's say at 10 o'clock.
Yes.
You said 4 hours, do we eat our meal? When should we be eating our meal? And
So it's a preparation to go to bed. By we should be done eating by around 8 p.m. Uh, so th-
okay,
and the last meal should not be high glycemic food. It should not be like and also full meal. You don't want to have a full stomach, and you should stop also drinking by 8 p.m. because alcohol will also alcohol metabolizes into acetaldehyde, which wakes you up.
yeah,
And I will focus on a low glycemic food and not a big meal for my dinner.
okay. So about 2 hours before we go to bed,
Correct.
we should end or start our last meal.
Th- Be done with
Be done. Okay,
because the food stays in the stomach for about 60 to 120 minutes. So you want the food to be left the stomach, because
okay.
otherwise you're going to have at risk for acid reflux. You distend it. You don't want all that.
And then low carb, low glycemic
Correct.
foods.
Yes.
And is it okay to eat higher protein?
Yes.
Okay.
But not too much of high protein, because when you digest, it takes a lot of heat to digest that the big, like if you have a steak, you feel you're so full, and it takes a lot of energy, and the higher energy, the end product of that process is high heat, and that's not good for your sleep because melatonin is only secreted when the temperature is low within our bodies.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, so
Yes.
that's hard to gauge because, like, for me, I like to eat a high protein meal that fills
But
me
not
up.
not a lot of food.
Okay.
You can do that during lunch, but you don't want to have a high protein and a large voluminous meal closer to dinner.
If you had it a little earlier, would that be better?
That's probably better. Yes, if
Okay.
you can eat a big meal around 6,
Okay.
you want to have 4 hours of complete freedom for your body as you prepare.
Awesome. So there's some give and take there,
Yes,
right? So, okay.
absolutely, absolutely. That's the balance. What you have to have a balance.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's interesting. So, yeah, 2 hours before, that makes sense. And then,
Yes.
so we hear a lot about, I know over the years I've heard the value. I'm curious to hear what you say about this getting into a sleep routine.
Yes.
And what are your thoughts? What does that entail? Kind of what do we need to be doing?
Perfect. You're leading into my 7 proven strategies. I think let's go ahead and run with it if that's okay with you. All right.
Awesome.
So the 7 proven strategies, when I wrote my book, that's my subtitle. My daughter, who's a law student, she said, "Dad, we need an acronym." So I just formed an acronym so everybody can write this down. I mentioned a lot in my book. It's called the Sleep Now acronym. So SLEEPNO together and W. Sleep now. You guys ready? So that makes NO is together, so that makes seven 7 letters. So let's go with yes, S is the schedule in the sleep. So we all have to have a schedule. The best schedule is be focused. You sleep between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. That should be your general rule on an everyday basis. I hang out with my kids, party, all right, let's hang. But I'm always coming back to 10 to 6. So, and you should start preparing for the good sleep by around 6 p.m. So we have to have a schedule. What happens with my insomnia patients? They go to bed around 10. They can't sleep till midnight. Guess what they do? They go to bed earlier. And now you're struggling from 9 to 12. You're struggling in bed for 3 hours, right? So for insomniacs, If you go to bed by 10 and not able to fall asleep by midnight, go to bed closer to midnight, 11:30. But you have to wake up at 6. So that's called sleep restriction strategy. It's a proven method. It works great. All right. So I mentioned more in my book. So that's sleep
Mhm.
strategy. So
Okay.
a subtitle of the sleep schedule. So we covered that, right? Now we
Okay.
go into the L. All right. Ready? L
Okay.
is low light, low temperature, low noise. The melatonin, our own melatonin, will only be secreted in darkness and in colder temperature. So I experiment people to have their shades. Bedroom should be dark and quiet, and then temperature should be experiment between 65 to 70 degrees. So that'll help. Melatonin, the mela means darkness, so it only will secretes in darkness. So the room has to be quiet and no TV, by you, no light, no light. Okay. The
Hmm.
next E is, you guys ready? Is my favorite, electronics. So the problem with electronics is, especially in your bed, is when you open your phone or your tablet or whatever, the lights without any ambient light is so powerful, it hits the eye and tells the brain, hey, it's still daytime. There's no need to go to sleep. So remember, our hormones only secreted in darkness, so it's telling our brain. So that's absolutely, I remove my phone, I keep it away, I don't have it near me for many reasons. The dings, the sounds, all that happen, I'm not bothered. And then what has happened when you look at your phone? Oh, it's 2 o'clock. Oh, it's only 2 o'clock. I only slept 2 hours, or I have only 3 hours. So your cognitive activity is increased. So I tell people, keep your phone, set an alarm, and keep it in your bathroom. So in the morning, you literally wake up to go and take it. I'm done for the night, right? Easy things to do. All right, big,
Yeah.
big thing. See, the electronics such a huge part in affecting sleep because all of us, we have our new best friend. I call the phone as my best friend. I'm going to make 3, 4 hours to use on it. That's the way we live. Children are using it 7, 8 hours. So where's that extra few hours come from? From your sleep. Everybody's taking that 1, 2 hour extra to be on their phones by compromising on their sleep. So I'm a big fan of restricting, and also tell people to not use your phone at least 30 minutes to an hour prior to going to sleep because you're getting your mood done. You're in the process of this mood. You're avoiding that. Okay. The next E is exercise. Exercise creates heat, right? Heat does not help the secretion of melatonin. So 4 hours prior to workout, I mean, 4 hours prior to sleep, I tell people not to exercise. It still stimulates cortisol, endorphins. All those hormones are high temperature. You don't want high temperature. You have to ease in. You can't rev up your body before. So this is the calming your body. Okay. So then we go into the next P. That's power off your mind. So now you're calming your mind. So you can do all this by not, doing the other things I told you, the meal, the light, the exercise. Powering off your mind is the most complicated or the most hardest. But if you did A, B, and C, now you're able to do, and I use my own two techniques. One is called vivid imagination to sleep. So so what do people do? They lay on their bed and they worry about the real things. But I don't want people to do that. I want people to think about their own imagination. Like if you watched a show on TV, I want you to you are the director of that show now. I want to use your own
Mhm.
imagination. And I do this every night. So I go in, I start, and I'm going into drifting into sleep, right? So that's one. Number two is yoga nidra. Yoga nidra means we do all kinds of yoga. Nidra means nothingness or deep sleep. That comes from that Sanskrit word. So you lay down, have your hands up. You're in a corpse pose. You're thinking about nothing. So if you practice this for 5, 10 minutes every night, you're calming your mind. But remember, I told you to calm your body and the light. You have to do that now. You're here. All right. So now we are moving along with no, N-O. It's a together word. No to worries, right? So you can't worry in bed. Bed's for sleeping or sex, but most people are snoring or worrying, right? So no to worries. I tell people to worry between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. I do in my own life. I had to get ready for your show. I was listening to your podcast. I do all that by 6 p.m. By 8 p.m., I write down the things I'm not able to do. I want people to worry, but not in bed. Worry between 6 to 8 p.m. And if you can't resolve anything, write it down. You think about it the next day. This is a great thing. It will change your life, as a small business owner, as a writer, as a doctor, and as a family person. I have to, worry is a part of our lives. Now, I'm not telling anybody not to worry, but make sure you worry between six. You don't bring it to bed, right? So now the last is W, right? This is win by losing, So sleep is one thing we want to do, like fast, fast, do this, but sleep, you can't do that. You have to win by losing yourself into this process. Take it easy, just lay down, you've done ABC. So this is my own method. It's available on my website. I've also started a course where I explain more. So it's called the Sleep Now course. So this is how I can help people to sleep better. And this works. I've been doing this time and time again. I worked on myself, and I've given to all my patients. They come, do this. And I also have sleep journals, which will be available on my website. You can document your sleep. And I'm not a big fan of the Fitbit. I tell people to get a rough idea, but what's happening in today's world, everybody looks at it and they worry more and they don't sleep. Oh my God, I got only 20% of this sleep. 20. What are you going to do? I gave you all the answers. If you're not doing well, you have to consult with your doctor and see maybe you have a sleep problem. Worrying and ruminating about these gadgets is destroying people's sleep more than it's helping them. That's my
Yeah.
spiel, Carrie.
Oh, that's great. Boy, yeah, that's wonderful
Yes,
information. Thank you
yes,
so much for sharing that.
yes.
The things that come to mind, first off, here's a question.
Hmm.
I know with the electronics,
Hmm.
if somebody wants to use a calming sleep app where they flip the phone over and have their ear pods in or whatever they're using, what about that?
Perfect. So I tell people to do that outside the bedroom or when not in bed or in a chair close to the bed. See what happens is if you're going to do it on your bed, it is tethered to the phone. And when you have a phone, it's a constant source. I tell people to do that like 30 minutes prior, calm your mind, you can listen to all that, but just set the phone out and then come to bed. That rhythm will be still in your head for about another 15 minutes. I don't want to bring your phone to the bed because you're always like, what you're going to do? You're going to be listening to the app and there's going to be a ding or something. You're going to open up that app or check an email. You don't want. I encourage people to do meditation and prayer, but don't have a device tethered to you on bed. You with
Okay.
me? Do
Yeah.
that and then get into bed. Leave your phone in your bedroom. I'm sorry, in
Okay.
your bathroom, away from your bed. Okay?
Yeah. No, that's helpful. And when it comes to calming down, that all
Yeah.
makes sense. And I'm familiar with yoga and nidra.
Yes.
And so can we, I do a lot and I encourage a lot of people that I work with too, to
Yeah.
do what I would say is a fascia release or stretching
Yes.
where
Yes.
you're slowly breathing and you're getting
Correct.
rid of tension. And that's
Yes.
okay to do.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Go for it.
perfect.
Yeah.
So that's the cognitive part of cognitive behavioral therapy. I go into that also. So you focus on different areas of your body, starting from your head down to your toes. Just release the tension in different groups of your muscle. That's progressive muscle relaxation. That's a great technique. And also the Andrew Wales technique of breathing a few times, deep breath, and focus on your breath. So all this is part of that's also it's great techniques, the cognitive behavior. That also comes in part of your mind. But remember, you can only do this by having done that. You just can't. See, we want sleep to be an on-off switch. It doesn't happen. It's a dimmer. You have to slowly dial it down. It's like a seven-course meal. You need to have your salad, you need to have your music, you need to have your wine. You just can't go for the big, big, big meal. So it's a process. I tell people to prepare for bed. It should start by 6 p.m. You're winding down. See, the beauty of it is once you sleep, you can be at optimum best between 7 a.m. And 7 p.m. You can do a lot. When you don't need to be behind the eight ball, being struggling and lagging, and then compromising on your sleep, and then we're all in that vicious cycle.
Yeah. Now, what you said too, I'm trying to figure out like kind of the order of things in my mind listening to you.
Yes.
I love like doing your whatever you want to call it, personal inventory, getting rid of the worries, doing your closing of your business before 8 or 7,
Yes.
whatever it is, getting that done. Then, if you were to want to read, whether it's a book, your Bible, whatever it is,
Yes.
it's better to do you would you do that first and then do like calming type activities like you're stretching after that, or would you stretch first and then read? What do you think?
So I would, first is calming your body. So I would stretch, and you're done with all the exercise. Stretching is good, but not that high intensity. Hit HIIT, high intensity interval training. You can do it. I do it first thing in the morning. I'm awake at 6 and I do my hit whatever in the morning, but not in the evening. So that's more like stretching, and then you can read your Bible. You can read a book. Then it's a whole process. It's an act. I tell people it's a 4 hour process. 6 to 10 you're getting ready, and 10 to 6 you're sleeping. So that's the best strategy. It'll work.
So calm the body first. Yes. And I'm not talking about hit stretching. I'm talking about diaphragmatic type releasing tension from the body. So very slow and doing that before you read is what you're saying. And
Yes.
then ultimately lying in bed at one point and just focusing and of course entering in the diaphragmatic type breath to this process is going to be helpful. And I love the new thing is that this imagination, this vivid imagination part that you had is interesting. So you kind of just give us a little tip on what you kind of go a little further with that piece. That's new to me, like understanding that. Like
So
what
the
would
the concept of vivid imagination is all always there, but to taking it for sleeping, I'm the first guy to make it my own, and because I have used it in so many of all my years, and I've taught my patients, and they all love it. So like if you're watching a series, on Netflix or whatever, different episodes, so you become the director. So what we do normally, we take the worries and think about it in our bed. See, remember? So you are here. I want you to your worries or thought process into that. What happens to the hero or heroine, whatever the worries, into your own imagination, not the reality. I wanted to go into the abstract and leading into this. Sleep is simple, but it's mysterious, it's magical. It's so much. We heal in our sleep, we dream. So I want you be the director of something in the abstract, not that's imagination. You don't want the reality in your bed. You want to think about
yeah.
stuff. Whatever happened to that child. If you want to use your own imagination, and you'll lead into a new world that's out there.
And I would guess, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but we're kind of aiming in the more joyful
Yes.
realm,
Correct.
calming realm,
Yes.
things that are going to be pleasant when we do this. Yeah.
Exactly. That's
Okay.
the process of calming your mind. That's the only
Okay.
way. Yeah. Sleep
Yeah.
is you can't get it in a fast. You have to take it easy. That's you can get everything by working hard. If you want to build muscles, you're over there working, working, working. You're working extra hours. You're doing all that stuff in a hurry, but sleep has to take it. That's absolute paradox. The superpower, you have to come to it in a slow, soothing manner. You can't do it as an on-off switch.
Yeah, no, and this is great. And it's obviously an art that you have perfected. And it's
Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow. So, here's a couple other things that come to mind. This has been great, but I'm also wondering, like, when we just take our cumulative sleep, let's say I have two questions. One, if we're going to get like 8 hours in one night, does it affect us if we get up in the middle of that one time and then go back to sleep? Because I've heard mixed things about that.
Yeah, we all wake up because you see, remember, sleep is a dynamic, the cycles. So you're more as the shift happens up and down, you're more a chance to be waking up. And then as we grow older, we have to use the bathroom. Then there's some noise or the dog barking. So then what I tell people is to keep the sleep shape. You don't look at the phone, don't look at the clock, just keep the shape. If you have to use the restroom, do it, come back and just close your eye. I mean, it happened to me last night. I just went, I do what I tell people. And sometimes, if it happens to all of us. If you wake up and can't go to sleep, leave the room, go watch TV. In the past, I never told people to watch TV. Now I tell them because TV is better than phone because there's ambient light, so phone phone is a
Wow.
absolute challenge. I do that, it happens to me once or twice a year. I say, hey, what do I tell everybody? Go leave the room. I go watch my show and then come back and then go back to sleep. See, I
Yes.
I suffered from insomnia. In med school, nobody sleeps. And then when my mom died, I couldn't sleep. And then when I started this new business, started on my own company, I couldn't sleep. But, I know how it feels not to sleep well. But if you have a basic principle, so I'm even more passionate teaching young children because once you have that, so I dedicated two chapters for children to sleep better because once you got it, because we're going to fall because this is the world we live in.
Yeah.
Worries, all the pressures, loss, tragedies, divorce, all that happens. But then we have to, I call it sleep proof yourself and discover the superpower because it heals. It does so many things in our sleep. So I'm able to resonate. I can spot an insomniac far away, from their skin, from their mood, from their attitude. Hey, even, we know when that child needs a nap. We know that. So
Oh, wow. And so like, yeah, because so what you're saying too, like, so if we sleep 4 hours, get up, there's nothing wrong with that. Go back
correct.
to sleep. It's still going to
Yes.
be, you're still going to be okay.
Oh, yeah, it's still
And
gonna be
even if
okay.
it's a habit, like something that happens regularly, as long as you're getting the 8 hours or 7 hours,
Yes.
you're okay. Okay.
Yeah, if you
Well,
feel
that's
good the
good.
next day after slept that, so I want everybody to see I'm not trying to sell something. There's no magic bullet out there. If anybody is going to say that, then I'm not, selling some, we want quick fix, but we have that within us, which is going to hold us good for the rest of our lives. I mean, sometimes I do have prescribed pills to my patients who are going through acute grief or some tragic, but not on a long term. I take patients who are on chronic pills away from them by teaching them by discovering your own potential.
Hmm. And if you get up earlier, like let's
Yes.
say you get up at 5 a.m.,
Yes.
do you recommend getting to sleep by 9 p.m.?
It depends on how you do. If you feel waking up at 9, I mean 5 in the morning, and you need that. So if you know, man, it's too early, then you change your clock. You see what I'm
Okay.
saying? So if some people want to be, early risers because they want to get their workout done,
Yeah.
or they have to do certain things, busy moms, they have to get everything ready. That's fine.
Yep.
But if you're feeling, after 7 hours of sleep every night, you're feeling good, then you're doing something right. Keep it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's good to know because it sounds like it's not black or white. There's some gray areas. And just listening to your body, I'm hearing a lot about being mindful, paying
Yes.
attention,
Yes.
and sleep disorders. Like the main ones you see, I know that you mentioned the sleep apnea.
Yes.
Kind of was, I'd be curious to know a little bit more about what the major ones are and starting with that. That I'm
Correct.
familiar with that a lot over the years,
Sleep problems are very simple, Gary. Either you don't sleep, which is insomnia, or you sleep too much. Okay, so I gave you the solution of insomnia. So that's the sleep now acronym. So are you sleeping too much because you have a sleep problem? So the most common is sleep apnea. The word before sleep apnea, it's called obstructive sleep apnea. Literally, there's an obstruction. The tongue, which is the main culprit, falls backwards and closes the airway, and the brain wakes you up. So even though you sleep 8 hours, you're woken up multiple times. Like literally somebody waking you up to keep you alive. It's subconscious, but the brain, if you see the brain EEG activity there, everybody's woken up. So you wake up, you're tired the next day. So that's the number one cause of fatigue in middle age folks who are tired, right? So, uh, and then there are other conditions like hypersomnia and narcolepsy in young people because that's a chemical deficiency of the awake chemical. That's a separate topic, but for adults, it's a sleep apnea. So then there are other disorders as common as restless legs in the evening, you're not able to sleep, or you kick your legs at night. It's called the periodic limb movement disorder that keep you awake at night. And then the most dreaded is more common in men. It's called REM behavior disorder, where people act out their dreams in REM sleep. Your body is completely paralyzed in REM sleep, except your diaphragm and your eye muscles. Like if you can see your dogs come sometimes twitch, or you can see the eye movements. Other than that, all the muscles are paralyzed. But some people act out their dream. I've had people come in and punching their spouses. I've seen in women, but it's very, very more common in men. It's called REM behavior disorder. So in summary, you dealt about insomnia. If you sleep too much, in younger folks, you either have idiopathic hypersomnia or narcolepsy. In middle age and older folks, you probably have sleep apnea with, or you can have other common conditions like restless legs, periodic limb movement during sleep, or REM behavior disorder. Well, these are the major. Of course, there are many other disorders, but these will, about 95% of the problems.
And then to see if you have one of these, like sleep apnea, you get a sleep test. Is that what you do? Or
Correct. I'm a
yeah,
big fan of
okay.
home sleep studies. In the past, everybody's worried to go to the lab. Now you just have a watch-like device. That's what I use, called watch pad device. I make people wear the watch and they sleep in their own bed and they come into my office. I plug the device. I'm able to quickly edit and correct a few things, and then you have an answer. You have a treatment the next day.
So for anybody listening today that needed a sleep test, they could go to your website, which I'm going to include in this episode, and so forth.
Yes.
Get that information.
Correct. Yes.
Oh, that's
I've given
great.
many resources. This is all new to me, but I think by the time your show is aired, we might have it all up. So we're building
Yeah.
all this. It's been an exciting journey. I have the joy in my life by sleeping better. I want to share it to the world because you can do a lot more by sleeping better. It's within you. You don't. It's there. It's free. It's there for the taking. Why not discover it?
Yeah. No, your passion is contagious. And I
Yes.
mean, this has been great. And yeah, because it sounds like just like anything, it requires the building of habits. So, and then
Yes.
perfecting those habits when it comes to your sleep, why not make that a goal? I know I'm going to be focusing on that after listening to this. And I know a lot of people out there hopefully have been encouraged by this. This is great.
Yes.
So,
Yes. It's a problem. But because of the times we're living in, and we are compromising our sleep. Can you imagine a drowsy driver or a student who's not studying? And not to mention
yeah.
sleep apnea, health problems associated with sleep apnea, diabetes, high blood pressure, and that can lead to heart problems or stroke, memory problems. You're always in a brain fog. Just by treating sleep apnea, you can alter the course of the progression of dementia. There's one of the treatable called low libido. A lot of men come because of low testosterone. When you have sleep apnea, you're not making enough testosterone. So that's a treatable cause for erectile dysfunction. Instead of taking shots, there's a cause for that. How, how about that? It affects all parts of the, and of course, atrial fibrillation. The heart beats faster because your breathing is. So it affects all parts of the body. So everybody needs to be screened if you're not sleeping well or sleep too much, especially in middle age, so that we can get treatment.
No, this is great. And one other thing just came to my mind. Like, what about naps? Do they count towards your total sleep, or is that something you recommend? What do you think about that?
Great question. I love naps. So naps in a healthy person is very, very important. I nap when I can, especially in between I time it between 1:30, 3:30. That's your natural lull of your body. Our body is at our lowest between 2 and 4 in the morning and 2 and 4 in the afternoon. That's the normal circadian rhythm. Guess what? Look what we're doing. We take a siesta, we take a coffee break or a tea time all over the world. So we have you ever gone to a meeting at 2:30 in the afternoon? No, because we are subconsciously doing things without our knowledge. But guess what? We are maximum best between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. That's when our circadian rhythm and our body's at maximum focus. But if you're tired at 7 a.m. or 7 p.m., we have a problem. That means your body's telling you something. Look, it's called prime time for a reason. The TV people know why they're doing it, and we go to all meetings at 7 in the morning, right? So naps in a sleep deprived person like who's suffering from insomnia, when I'm trying to create a sleep debt and a sleep schedule, I tell them not to nap, right?
Ah,
So,
Yeah.
but if you're a healthy person, nap is my mom always told me to nap, and I even now when my family's like, where is dad? He's sleeping, on the weekends whenever I can. He's so healthy. But also here's a little caveat. There was a recent journal article from the British Medical Journal which says napping increases brain volume, and I got sorts of phone calls. Especially people on the insomnia program. I tell them not to nap. Hey, say Dr. John, I heard this, but a regular person, it's nap. But also the beauty of nap, it has to be maximum 15-30 minutes. So that 30, 40, maximum 45 minutes. So, but if you're sleeping more than an hour, that means you are asleep dead. The body's trying to tell you something. So if you're napping too much, napping frequently, then you have a problem. So you have to watch out for that. So, a healthy
Mhm.
nap should be 15-30 minutes. So great question. I'm a huge fan of nap in normal people.
Wow. So a nap is 15 to 30 minutes, not
Correct.
over that.
Correct.
Okay.
And
Wow.
if you're going past 1 hour, you have a sleep debt. You need to answer your body, and you have to ask, people. Those are some of the subtle clues. If you have heart problem, lung problem, if you have sleep apnea problem, that means you're napping too much. Your body is telling, hey, I need that.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Well, I just want to thank you so much for coming on
Yes,
today. This has
yes,
been wonderful
yes,
and so much value. And like I said, I have included Dr. John's website in this episode today. It's the
yes.
sleepfixacademy.com. So you can go and check that out. And remember, we do new episodes every week on Wednesday. And I look forward to having you join me then.
Yes, scary. And thank you for the opportunity. I'm Dr. Sleep Fix. I've taken the name Sleep Fix on all the social media handles, whether it's TikTok or Instagram. If you search me, follow me. I've given weekly links. I've made this my life's mission to heal people to sleep better. And I want everybody to feel the joy. This is no pill, no magic. It's your own power. Once you discover that, the world is yours. So let's go. Let's go sleeping, Carrie.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. Nice to talk to you. Thank you.